Alright. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, we should be running. We should be live on the air today. I was having some issues with the camera, so it's a bit darker, a bit more overcast than I would have liked it to have been when filming this, but hopefully it all works out. I am just going to record like everything's normal, and if there is an issue, well, you're not going to be seeing it, but if you're seeing it, that means it worked out, and if you're not seeing it, then it never happened. Anyways, yeah, I'm feeling a little nervous again, but I think once I kind of get it out of my system, I think I'll be feeling a bit better. But I think this can just be part of the experience of watching me, because the reality is, like, I've got the microphone and I'm doing the talking and I'm putting this up on the internet for people to watch, consume and listen to give my perspective, and I hope that my perspective is practical and helpful. But the reality is like, I don't feel that special, or I don't feel that important, but I guess that's kind of very relevant to what I wanted to talk about, because I am enjoying, I enjoy talking, I enjoy thinking and reflecting and giving my perspective on things, but I've reached this wall when it comes to talking to other people, and that wall is I'm really worried about judgment. I'm worried that my perspective isn't good. I'm worried that people will think my perspective is stupid. I'm worried that I come off as an idiot or arrogant or ignorant or stupid. And I guess that's what I want this video to be about, because I've got all these different things that I want to talk about, or that I'm curious to talk about, but I feel like it's not my place to. So I thought, what better place to start than here? If I'm scared to talk about any subjects on this channel, but I still want to talk about subject matters, then maybe that should be the subject matter, because I'm sure there is at least one other person on this planet that will relate to this experience. I'm just going to check and make sure that the camera's recording before I continue further. That's all looking pretty well and good to me. Okay. Alright, so my name is Ashlyn, and today I wanted to talk about expressing opinions and the fear of judgment. So I guess this is the thing I kind of already covered, is like I want to talk, and I want to talk about, philosophy and politics, science, my personal opinions and life experiences, but I feel like I feel like it's not worth it, or I'm not worth it, or that my perspectives aren't interesting, or that I don't have anything to add to the conversation. And I get this shame complex, because I think I can express myself quite well, but then when it comes to being perceived and having a camera pointing into my face to talk about how I'm feeling, suddenly the walls in my mind go up. And then when the walls in my mind go up, suddenly it's like I don't know what to say, I don't know how to express myself, and I feel like I make myself look like a bit of a fool. But yeah, so I guess the biggest thing is that I'm just a bit scared. And I think that fear really stems from just this. I really hope those birds aren't loud. If it's loud, then I'll just have to try again another day. And I think that's the thing as well, is like, maybe we'll get there, but you can always just try again, Like, I'm scared to be standing here with it recording, because it feels like this is the take, and this is my perspective, and this is how people will be seeing me, and there is no further discussion. And it's like, no, like, this is just one moment, and this is just one recording on one day, and for all I know, I could just stop, and this never happened. So there's always another day, there's always another chance, and nothing is so absolute, I guess. But anyways, I guess the biggest thing that holds me back from just expressing my own perspective and opinions is just this weight of the fear of judgment from others, feeling like I said, people aren't gonna like my perspective, people are going to think I'm boring or uninteresting, or that I don't have anything interesting to provide to just the dialogue in the world, you know? But, you know, and I think this also stems from a place of feeling insecure around, like, feeling incompetent, you know, feeling like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, because when you're in, like, political spaces or, you know, philosophical spaces or whatever, like, there's always someone that thinks you're missing something. There's always someone that's gonna raise their hand and go, hey, you're missing the point, or that you didn't consider this or that or whatever. And so I guess I developed this fear of feeling incompetent, of feeling like I don't have enough information to talk about these subject matters. I don't have enough information to discuss political things, or to discuss philosophical things, or to discuss just anything, really. And I guess what I kind of realize is, like, okay, maybe I don't feel good enough, or I don't feel confident enough, or I don't feel capable enough, but it's like, if I don't, there is someone else behind me who may be less competent, or less competent, or less worried about the fear of judgment, but still, someone who is less competent or lacks that fear of judgment, but they're more than happy to take the microphone and start talking. And I think this is the big problem, is that if you're a person who is just scared of the perception, is scared of sounding stupid, is scared of people disagreeing with you, there is someone behind you that will be more than happy to take the microphone and start talking and start occupying that space. And so I guess what I'm realizing is, maybe I don't feel like I am confident enough, or I am capable enough to be the person holding the microphone and talking to the camera. But if it's not me, it's just going to be someone else. And I may not agree with that person, or I may not, that person may not be as competent or capable as me, which, you know, again, that's a subjective thing, of course. But I guess what I'm saying more broadly is, you don't necessarily have to be the most competent, capable, intellectual person in the room. I mean, I think those are values you should obviously strive for. I think that's important, but you don't necessarily have to be. I think it's a false state of mind to believe you've reached the point of complete competence, or complete understanding, or complete, no one can judge you. That's not a real place, you know, because these are just mechanisms in the way we function. Like I said, there's always going to be someone that is going to think you're missing something, or you're forgetting something, or you're not doing something right. And so, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, like, whether you think you've got it or not, it's really just a confidence thing. And it's like, I think you've just got to be ready to take the punches if you're gonna put yourself out there. It's not really something that you can avoid, and if you try to avoid it, it's like you're not going to get anywhere. And so you got to take the microphone, and you just got to start talking. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should just spout bullshit, for lack of a better word. Wow. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That was like a construction site near me. But that sounded really scary. But yeah, so, I mean, more than anything, I guess what I'm saying is confidence reigns supreme at the end of the day. And you just got to kind of have the confidence that, hey, maybe I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, or I don't know exactly what I'm doing, and maybe there are people that are going to think I'm a fucking idiot, but you just got to get out there. And, you know, I think focusing on when you do hit a wall, or you do get criticized, and you're like, yeah, that is, I can see how that's some valid criticism, it's just take it on board, take it in your stride. You know, like, I really just think the difference between the audience and the speaker is just that one person's holding the microphone and one person isn't. So it's like, don't be scared to take the microphone. You know, I mean, I was scared, but it's like, you can be scared, but don't let it stop you, you know? I've written on my notes here, it says, quality of communication. And how that relates to expressing opinions and perspectives is, I mean, I feel like I'm getting into a conversation around fear of judgment primarily. When it comes to quality of communication, I guess what I'm inferring is that when you've got a point or a perspective or a message, it's not just the data or the stats or the how much reading you've done on the subject to be talking about it. It's also just the message itself, the way you communicate it. Like this, you know, like this is a way I'm recording this, like this, like I'm not engagement maxing, like I'm not trying to push for as much engagement as I can possibly get. If I did, it would be a very different medium, and I would be jump cutting every 5 seconds and cutting out all the parts where I'm a bit awkward and shy and I don't really know what to say, and maybe I'm fumbling over myself a bit. But what I'm trying to say is the way you communicate your message, the sun's coming out, is just as important as the message itself. And so you don't necessarily have to be the most read person in the room to make a good point. And that leans into my next point, is that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you think, no matter the way you act, the way you dress, whatever it is, people will judge you regardless, you know? I could come on here and I can have the most perfectly eloquent speech, the most perfectly researched and educated perspective, the most bipartisan, non-judgmental, objective, whatever that means, objective view on this subject, and there will still be someone out there that can raise their hand and go, no, you didn't consider this, or you missed something. But yeah, I guess irrespective of what you do, like, people are going to judge you regardless. And so at the end of the day, if that is the case, no matter what you do or say, or how perfectly or imperfectly you try to conduct yourself, someone's not going to be happy. You may as well just put yourself out there as authentically as possible, because at least in that case, when you're doing that, you will be judged, like, under any circumstance, but you'll be being judged for being authentically yourself. And at least at the end of the day, that means you're going to attract people that are like-minded, that understand where you're coming from, and you will feel the comfort of knowing you are being truly authentic within yourself. And I don't think anyone can really fault that at the end of the day, you know? I mean, of course they can criticize you, and then it's your job to determine, hey, is what this person's saying reasonable or fair? But, you know, again, that's for you to determine. But yeah, and I guess my final point on top of all of that is, if judgment is unavoidable and we are scared of being judged, or we are scared of not being enough or whatever, or like not being good enough to put ourselves out there or to take the risk or take the chances or whatever, if that is the case, we can always improve, you know? We can always learn from our mistakes. When we fumble and we fall over, when we do the wrong thing, when we hurt someone, we can stop for a moment and we can reflect and we go, like, was this, like, aligned with my values? Was this what I wanted? You know, is this what I wanted for this person, for the world, for myself, for my friends, family, my passion? You know, and you go and you reflect on that, and you can determine for yourself, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the most aligned thing I could have done for my values. And you can just focus on, I can always improve. You know, I can't change the past, but I can always improve. You know, and it's like, don't waste a life being worried about regretting mistakes of the past, you know? It's part of the journey of growth, is making mistakes. And it's part of the journey of growth knowing that mistakes will come and that that's okay, you know? But yeah, so that's all I really had. I feel like this is a great place to start, just because I am, like, sincerely worried about how I express myself on here, and what people are going to think and say about me, and the way I behave and act and all this kind of stuff. And I hope that it's enlightening for some of you, or some of you can find comfort in that perspective. But anyways, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.